Today we are living in the year 2023, and the age we are in is a modern time period. In this modern time period, countries live different lives. While some countries are shown behind the times, others can keep up with today's conditions normally. In some countries, as soon as you set foot there, it creates an ambience as if you are living 50 years ahead of time. So much so that when people see the lifestyle there, they feel like they are on a different planet other than Earth. Especially those who come from the western part of the world to Asia seem to be extremely impressed by the culture of life in this country. That is Japan, one of the most different countries in the world. Japan is an island country located in East Asia. The name of the country comes from the combination of the names sun and origin in their language. Geography, in other words, Japan, which consists of 6,852 islands, has a structure consisting of islands, has a total area of 378,000 square kilometers, and the country of Japan hosts a great crowd in this area. Japan hosts exactly 125 million people. In fact, this number can be considered quite normal for Asian countries. Almost every country in Asia is densely populated. Today the country has both China and important neighbors such as North Korea, South Korea, and Russia. Tokyo, the ultra-developed city of 37 million people, is the heart of Japan. It is also the most populous city in the world. The city is so crowded that every memory of good and bad in Japan is experienced in this city, and the state even offers its citizens a one-time offer of $7,500 per child to leave this city. This is such an important city that the world's second largest stock exchange is conducted through Tokyo. In this sense, this is a city where not only Japan but the whole world invests. Tokyo is the commercial, cultural, and financial center of Japan and the city with the world's fastest train. How did Japan, a country that lost the World War not so long ago, about 78 years ago, and was captured by atomic bombs on its territory, manage to develop so rapidly? Because even after the end of the war, it was controlled and interfered in its internal affairs by the United States and other countries for many years. Before the Second World War, Japan had dreams of expansion over China and Korea. But Japan, unable to realize these dreams, focused on internal development instead of territorial dreams, and the country evolved in a different direction. In Japan, it is continued for the purpose of traveling in order to keep an old culture alive. The common feature of all of them is that people do this job to earn money. One person, regardless of whether you are a boy or a girl, takes you on a close-distance trip in Tokyo. You sit in the back seat and the person in front drives you around with the help of wheels. In other words, it is like a kind of carriage trip. The only difference is that people are used instead of horses. Another thing that is different in the country is the hotel related to the hotels, because they have brought a completely different dimension to this sector. There are hotels where you can rest almost everywhere in Japan. For example, if you feel tired at train and subway stations, there are sleeping areas inside the stations. You can rent the sleeping quarters there for half an hour or longer, and you can rest inside. Another type of hotel is a place managed by some robot software that has no human employees in any way. In another hotel, there is a hotel that contains adult books full of anime stories. They hang out quietly in their own sections by reading the magazines here. People say that most of these hotels are built to attract tourists or, in other words, to attract attention. They come to such businesses in order to see things they have not seen in their own countries in Japan. They take photos and introduce them to people. They both make money for the Japanese and advertise these places. This is a really ingenious initiative. Such clever initiatives of the Japanese always manage to make them different and make money for their country in this way. However, it is also a fact that hotel culture in Japan means a life center where people can get away from their homes and socialize in a different way. So much so that they even designed special hotels only for players. You can think of these places as an internet cafe. However, the most important difference is that it offers an ambience and environment that completely detaches you from the outside. After playing games with the communities there, you can retire to your room and sleep. The biggest proof that Japan is a country of hotels. However, according to the Guinness Book of Records, the oldest hotel in the world is located in the mountains of Tokyo. If you do not want to travel alone in Japan, and even if you want to be a guest in the home of families, it is possible to know who rents a family from the internet. Some families are young, some are old. Some of them can be with children, some without children. You can choose the family you want according to your desired age and criteria and spend time with them. Such services help you to understand Japan not only in terms of architecture and food and drink, but also beyond that, that is, to understand their lifestyles. There are also people in the country who take on the character of the game, and you can get bilateral dialogues and friendship services. Moreover, these people can advertise themselves even on the busiest streets and are not legally recognized. You can eat with these people. You can buy their personal belongings. You can go to cafes where they are and spend time together. You pay different amounts for each service. Almost all of them smile outwardly. But it's actually part of their job. Because the Japanese are a very introverted nation. They have difficulty establishing natural bilateral relationships with the outside world. Therefore, they try to be happy by turning to such artificial relationships where emotions are fake. The fact that the Japanese are so unsuccessful in human relations even within themselves is an extra problem for someone who goes to Japan from outside. Because if you are not an Asian person, they are quite cold to make natural friends with cultures they do not recognize from outside. It is extremely difficult, my friends, for a European or an African who wants to live in Japan to make a wide circle of friends in a short time. In addition, contrary to popular belief, the Japanese do not have much command of English. So they cannot speak English fluently. The rate of fluent English speakers in the country is measured as 60%, and more than half of the population can speak English. A person who wants to move to Japan needs to learn a certain amount of Japanese. The fact that Japan is very active in the world business sector makes it significantly easier to find a job there than in other countries. You can especially learn Japanese. Doors are opening one by one, especially in Tokyo. However, the bad situation is that the houses in Tokyo are as small and expensive as possible, and since the population in the country is very high, the buildings are skyscraper-style high-rise buildings as much as possible. Although the buildings are resistant to earthquakes, people who want to build a permanent life in Japan are different from other countries. They have to be used to constant earthquakes and tsunamis. Perhaps one of the most distinctive features that make Japan different is that people end their own lives. The country is generally regarded as the safest country in the world for students who want to study and pursue a career after graduation, with the lowest crime rate and murder rate. However, it is a worrying situation that suicide incidents have reached high levels. Reflecting the dark side of the country, which attracts attention with its colorful culture, suicide incidents reach 24% and more than 30,000 people die every year. It is one of the most popular methods chosen by the Japanese to end their lives, mostly due to work problems and financial problems. This is a completely different country, from the geography of Japan in general to its food culture and even to its beliefs. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Goodbye, see you in the new video.